The old man froze at the shelter doorway. His $5,000 Italian shoes touched cracked concrete floors stained with poverty and despair. The smell of cheap soup and damp clothes filled the air. This wasn't a place someone like Arthur Kingsley, one of the richest men in America, had ever stepped into before. And yet, his heart stopped when he saw her. A thin teenage girl sat in the corner, hugging a worn backpack to her chest. Her hair was messy. Her jacket was 2 sizes too big. Her eyes were hollow but familiar. Too familiar. Arthur's hands began to tremble. "That's impossible," he whispered, because the girl sitting in that homeless shelter, forgotten, hungry, invisible, was supposed to be worth $2 million. She was his granddaughter. Chapter 1. The billionaire who had everything. Arthur Kingsley built an empire from nothing. Born poor, raised in a broken home, he worked relentlessly until his name appeared on skyscrapers, hospitals, and university buildings. At 72, his net worth exceeded $9 billion. But behind the power and prestige, Arthur lived alone. His only son, Daniel Kingsley, had died in a tragic accident 15 years earlier. Daniel left behind a wife, Melissa, and a baby girl named Emily. Arthur loved Emily from the moment he saw her. "She'll never suffer," Arthur promised at Daniel's funeral. "Not ever." And he meant it. On Emily's first birthday, Arthur created a $2 million trust fund in her name. The money was locked, protected, untouchable, except by her legal guardian, Melissa. Arthur trusted her. That was his first mistake. Chapter 2. The woman who hated the past. Melissa had never loved the Kingsley name. She hated the wealth, hated the attention, hated living in Arthur's shadow. When Daniel died, Melissa changed. She moved cities, cut contact, stopped answering Arthur's calls. "She's grieving," Arthur told himself. "Give her time." Years passed. Arthur sent birthday gifts, letters, checks. None were acknowledged. Still, Arthur rested easy knowing Emily's future was secured. Until one day, his accountant asked a simple question. "Sir, has your granddaughter contacted you about her trust fund yet?" Arthur frowned. "What do you mean?" "Well, she turned 18 last month." Arthur felt a chill crawl up his spine. Emily hadn't contacted him. Not once. Chapter 3. The question that changed everything. 12 to 1800 hours. Arthur tried calling Melissa. Disconnected. He hired investigators. They returned with disturbing news. Melissa had remarried, then divorced, then vanished. Emily? No official records for the past 2 years. No school enrollment. No medical files. No address. Arthur's blood ran cold. "Find her," he ordered. "No matter the cost." 2 weeks later, the investigator made a call that would shatter Arthur's world. "She's living in a youth shelter downtown." Arthur refused to believe it. "My granddaughter is a millionaire." There was silence on the line. "Sir, she doesn't know." Chapter 4. The shelter. 18:00, 25:00. The shelter was overcrowded. Teenagers sleeping on bunk beds. Volunteers handing out food. Broken dreams everywhere. Arthur stood there in his tailored suit, out of place, unwanted. Then he saw her. Emily. She looked nothing like the smiling child in the photos on his desk. She was thin, tired, guarded. Arthur approached slowly. "Emily?" he asked gently. She flinched. "I don't want any trouble," she said quietly. "I didn't steal anything." Arthur's heart shattered. "No, no, sweetheart," he said, kneeling in front of her. "I'm your grandfather." She stared at him. "You're lying," she said flatly. "My grandfather doesn't care." Chapter 5. The life she lived. 25:00, 35:00. Over the next hour, Arthur learned the truth. Melissa had taken the trust fund money, illegally draining it over years. Luxury trips, designer clothes, new husbands. When the money dried up, so did Melissa's love. Emily was pulled from school at 16, forced to work odd jobs, then abandoned. She said I was a burden, Emily whispered. She said my father ruined her life. Arthur felt something inside him break. I looked for you, Emily continued. But no one wanted to help a girl with no address. She slept in cars, on couches, eventually shelters, all while $2 million meant for her future had vanished. Chapter 6. The question that silenced the room. Arthur stood up slowly. His voice was calm but deadly. Where is your $2 million trust fund? Emily blinked. My what? The room went silent. Arthur turned to the shelter director. Get her things, he said. She's coming with me. Emily panicked. No, I can't just leave. Arthur knelt again. You were never meant to be here, he said softly. And no one will ever abandon you again. Chapter 7. The Mother's Day of Reckoning. Melissa was found living comfortably in another state. Arthur didn't call. He showed up. Courtroom papers followed. Fraud, embezzlement, child neglect. When Melissa saw Emily standing beside Arthur, her face went pale. You told me she didn't want me, Emily said quietly. You lied, Melissa cried. But it was too late. Chapter 8. Rebuilding a broken life. Arthur couldn't recover the stolen money, so he did something else. He created a new trust fund. $10 million. Education, healthcare, security, but more importantly, time. Arthur spent every day with Emily, teaching her, listening to her, healing what money never could. Final scene. The Promise, 58:00, 60:00. One evening, Emily stood on the balcony of her new home. Grandpa? She asked. Yes. Why didn't you give up on me? Arthur smiled sadly. Because family isn't something you lose, he said. It's something you fight for. Emily hugged him tightly, and for the first time in years, she felt safe. Ending message. Call to action. Some children grow up rich. Others grow up forgotten. But no child should grow up unloved. Backhand index pointing right if the story moved you, like, subscribe and share. Backhand index pointing right because stories like this deserve to be heard.